And can you guys see my screen? Okay, that's great. So, first of all, my apologies for the previous session. There was a medical issue. Because of that, I couldn't come to the class. Souvik, you are not able to hear me? Like, just try to reconnect because most of the people are able to hear me, so it means there is something wrong at your end. Okay, I will post your message. So, I hope you guys had very good weeks, like 2 weeks. So, today we will be starting our first coding session, and this is our introduction to Python, all the basics and everything which is involved as a base in Python. So it is like go through to all possible things which can be like used later on in building up the things we will be using. So when we talk about basics, then the things which are usually in the basics of any language are these, like operators, which are operators which perform some operation between the values or variables. So we will see that, and we will also discuss what are variables and what is the type of variables which are used in Python. And then we will move on to the conditionals, which is if and else statements. Then we will look forward to loops for how to do repetitive code, and then we will discuss about functions. And this all is for today, and we will also discuss data types in detail, different data types in details, how to initialize them, how to use them. So if you guys will have any questions, you can always ask in the chat, and it will be great if you will have more and more questions. So no question is stupid or anything, so never think about that. Just post the question in the chat, and if you feel shy or something, just ask it privately. So never skip a question because it is important to get clear with everything. As I told my previous batch, the if even if you ask a lot of questions, and it slows down the pace, it doesn't matter, because the first target is that you guys know what we are delivering to you. So once you know it, then it will help us to get the things faster in the upcoming sessions, because everything is connected with whatever it is like a step-by-step procedure, and you will be learning in a step-by-step way that first thing will be linked to the next thing. And that's why never miss a class and never miss an assignment. If you try to do the assignments with the respective sessions, then you will be able to understand the things really clearly, and you will not be feeling like you are nowhere in the next sessions. So I recommend that you do the assignments going with the pace, and that and sometimes people, like some students, don't understand the assignment, so they don't do it and they keep it for the later, which is not right, because we have, if you don't understand anything, you can always ask on Q&A platform, which is just for you guys. So the purpose of that is because it is not a public platform, it is a platform just for digital media. So it is surely for you guys, and there are employees which are there to respond you and uh, resolve your queries related to your coding problems or other questions if you have any. So let's start with our today's session, and we can dig into Python now. So first thing we are going to discuss in Python is operators. So what are the operators? Here it is written that operators are special symbols in Python that carry out arithmetic or logical computations. So operators are like, for example, if you're performing mathematical operation and you need to define it in the code, that, for example, you are writing a mathematical equation in a code, then you will be needing operators. Then you will have, if you are doing comparison in if-else statements, which we will be discussing afterwards in this session, then you use comparison operators. And then you have logical operators, which are add or and, or and not. We will also discuss that. Assignment operators are for assigning a value to a variable. So what variables are, that is again a question coming up in this session. And then identity operators, which are special operators in Python, and we will see that as well, and then membership operators as well. So right now, just we will start in a sequence, starting from arithmetic operators. So if you don't get any of these things right now, then you can like just ignore it for now, because it will be coming forward in this session. And starting with the mathematical operators, specifically arithmetic operators. So just wait a second, guys. There is some issue with the unwanted voice. Let me check if someone's mic is on, because I. So I cannot hear any noise from you guys. It means it is coming from my side, and can you like pinpoint what sort of noise it is? Because it will be easy to figure out for me that what is the noise. Now it's fine. Okay, maybe it was just a connection or something like that, a technical problem. Uh, Thanks for pointing out. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes if there is a noise, yes, like this, you can always tell, because they never try to just get the audio from it. Like if you are getting the noise, always tell like this. This way we can I can repeat it, and if you guys have missed something. So, what I was saying is mathematical. So you joined right now, and have you missed anything? Nothing. You haven't missed anything. So we are just in the beginning. So we are starting with the mathematical operations, and so the first thing, if you want to add two numbers, then we can use, for example, right now we don't have any concept of variables, so let's consider just constant numbers. So let's say we are adding 4 and 5, so it is clear that it is just like you write in an equation. So 4 plus 5 is equal to 9, and you just do it like this. So if you guys don't know how to run a cell rather than doing this, then if you are in a cell, I will also tell how to use this notebook, Jupyter notebook within this session. So to run a cell, you press shift and then you press enter. So it will be running like this. Otherwise, you will have to always do this. So that is just a quick suggestion for you guys to try and keep in mind to the code with ease, with shortcuts and short keys. So what you can do is like you can try the things which I'm telling related to the notebook thing. You can try them on the go with the session, and you can ask questions if you are unable to achieve that operation you want to do. So a breakdown of this. So as in mathematics, plus is an operator and 4 and 5 are operands. So we can extend this equation however we want. There is nothing wrong with that, but remember there is always an order followed. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Then you can see there is a negation like okay, sorry. I think it will be available now. It's okay, right? Okay, so what I was telling you previously that you can do shift and enter to run the cell rather than using this button. This button is for if you want to go every time and just press it. Rather than doing this, you can use your keys and shift and enter your cell will run. So uh, then then what I said is that you can try on the go with the session, because that will help you guys to understand the quick shortcuts on the notebook while using the notebooks, and that way you can ask if something is not working for you. Then we have subtraction, and again subtraction like mathematical subtraction, and then multiplication, which is simple like just changing of the operators. 3 multiply 5. Then you have a division operator, which is similar, and here is your operator for the floor division. So if you use two this symbol, like two division symbols together, then it is your floor division. So what is the difference between this division and the other division? The definition is written here, but I will explain it a little bit further. Division that returns whole number adjusted to the left of the number line. So that can be a weak definition for you. So it is like, for example, if you are going to divide 101 by 2, then it means, sorry, the answer will be 40 point something, right? So just ignore the part of the floating points, and if you see, for example, if you see simple division is this 50.5. So if you do floor division, that you will get a whole number rather than having uh, a decimal value. So if you want just the whole number, then you can get a whole number like this. So rather than a floating point or a decimal with a number with a decimal point, right now if you say it in terms of mathematics, or you can say not a real number. So that is the basic difference, that here it is a in this division, you will get a whole complete, the complete division value with involving the decimal, and here it is not. It is like dropped, and you will get the part of the division which is integral. Similarly, for 7 floor division divided by 2, so it will give you 3, and your decimal points will be dropped. So based on division, there is another operator which is modulo, or you can also call it modulus. So for this you use a percentage sign in Python. So there are different signs in different languages for this operator, but here in Python you use percentage for this. So what does it do is it gives you the remainder of the division. So for example, if you divide 101 by 2, then what is your remainder is? Your remainder is 1, because 2 like 250 times 100, and 1 will be your remainder. So you are not going in the points or decimals, but you are it's doing the division until there is a remainder, and this remainder is returned using modulo. So we can simply see that for 7 mod 2 as well. So it is again 1, and this is how it works. So for example, you change the numbers 7 mod 5, then you will get a modulo 2, because 2 is your remainder. So there are three types of division operators which you can use. One is flat straight division, and there is another one in which you get a whole number rather than getting a number with precision up to decimal points. So not the complete division, just the whole number division, and then you can have the remainder of the division using modulus operator, which is your this operator of percentage. And then exponent or power, you can say exponent or power. So 3 power 4, 3 raised to power 4 is done using two multiplication operators. So it is never confuse this with the double multiplication. This is a power operator. This is a multiplication operator. So it is these are the different operators, so they don't have any relation within them. And this power operator is just a simple taking the power of any number. So 3 raised to power 4, so here it is 81. And similarly, if you say to be flat, you can say 3 raised to power 2 is 9, and so on. So this operator is for the taking a power. So simple math operators are here, and you can see that you can basically use them. So these operators, arithmetic operators, we have covered so far, and we will see them how they work with the values coming at the runtime, or like by the input of user. So this will be used within the variables, not like this constant numbers, because this is you are not doing it like using Python as a calculator. You are actually using it to implement the equations. So then you have another way of doing the stuff which you have done here, or for advanced mathematical. Yes, so you're talking about this. Okay, so let's insert a cell anywhere, like here maybe. So insert cell above. Then you have a markdown. In markdown, the markdown is used for writing something. there is one markdown in which you write code, and there is another another cell in which you write text. So this is the format. For example, you put to like control the size of the text. You can use as many, like this is the limit of your text size. So this is the maximum size. This is the smallest size. After, give that a space and write something. For example, my first text markdown. So this is your first text markdown. So here you can do it like this. And I will not go in details of this, because if you want to write any text, for example, my heading, then it is like this. So this is to control the heading size. If you have a bigger heading like this, so there are a lot of things which you can do in this. This is a whole different thing. It is close to latex. If you want to learn it, then you can use latex. So I will not be going in details of that, because there are a lot of possibilities. You can put images and so on. So if you want to work with that, you can just like Google the markdown or latex. So but for the simple, or if you want to just put the text, it is like this. Okay, no problem. You're welcome. And for reference, just wait a second. There is not any exact reference in my mind, but I think Jupyter has their own documentation for that. So yeah, so you can, I will post this in. I will post it here. For solving, you can get the link in the chat. And the next question from Rajesh, sorry, I am not able to pronounce correctly. Still, I will go to the question. Even if we give the input 10.5 is divided floor division is equal to 5, and 10.5 divided by 2 is equal to 5.25. This is the output, right? Yes. So yeah, this is the output. You can still confirm it like this. And here you can see this is 5.25. So what happens is that if you see the data type, it is float here. Why this is float, or float is a decimal point data type. For right now, we will discuss float further in this session. So the data type which is on the left side is taken, for example, in direct division. It doesn't matter what data type is. So Python will always give the answer in floating points. So let's say this. And but for the floor division, if the data type on the left side is whole, either integer or a float, so that will be your resulting data type, even one of the data type, whatever it is. So for example, 10, divided by 2.0 will give you a floating point number. So either one of them is float, that data type will become, the output will become float. But if both of them are not float, then it will always be just a whole number, or in terms of Python, you can say integer. But remember, the answer stays same, like 5. So it doesn't matter what is the data type. Is it clear? Okay. So let's come to some mathematical operations, which are basically some functions of math which you can directly do rather than going to implement yourself. So that for that you can import math library, which is import math. So you, if you want to include a library in Python, then it is simple as this, that import math, and so for other libraries you can just place your name, and you can even put an alias to a library name. For example, you don't want to use math everywhere, you use an M, so it can be import math at M. So now rather than using math, I will be using m.exp. So you can give an alias to the library name wherever you want. So there are this is a function of exponent uh, for this. So if you know what the constant exponent is, a constant value which is 2.71828. So what is the formula for that? That you take a number. When you take exponent of a number, you are actually taking that number as a power of this number. So that can be done by using this. The other way can be without using the function. You can do it like this: 71828 power of raised to power 2. So this is equivalent to what you are doing on this side. So you can get exponent, take exponent of any number. For example, you can do this, or you can do this. So this is the first function you are using in a library. So this is your function, and this is your input you are giving to that function. And how can we get all the functions? For example, so I want to see a list. So for after the full stop or the dot, press shift and tab. So sorry, not just press tab, and you will get the list of all the functions in that library. So this is all the functions in that library, and you can just directly do it by pressing the name of the function, then put a dot, and then press tab. So usually tab is for the completion, auto completion, but it also helps you to see the functions. If you, for example, forgot the name of a function, then you can just directly see it in the list of the functions which are available there. And if you start writing and then press tab, then it will be getting, the list will be getting shortened to what you are going to achieve. So let's say we are looking for exponent. So E, with E there are a lot of functions. We want to get an exponent, and then we put the bracket. Now to get the documentation of the function, that what is the input to the function, what is the function doing, and then you press shift and tab in this uh, parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, if you press shift and then you press tab, then you get the documentation of the function. But if you press twice, then you will get like detailed documentation. So your question is where uh, where exponent is used. Exponent is used almost everywhere. Like for example, when you are going to implement. Sorry, Souvik, I can repeat. Wait a second. I will first answer Rahimuddin's question. So, uh, exponent is used in mathematical functions, right? So, for example, let me get an example for you. Uh, in yeah, so I where I remember is there are some functions with exponent. So the first use is like whenever there is a function in which exponent is involved, there you use exponent. Uh, let's say let's get any function, and I think exponent is used in Gaussian function. But remember, exponent is like constant value. So wherever you find it involved, you can use it. And sorry, it is actually written here. It is the base of natural log. And so first thing is every mathematical operator is used can be used somewhere to define further functions which are involving them. So how they involve them, for example, if you are implementing, let's say there is, you don't have natural log implementation. It is there, but still if you think there is no natural log implementation, then you will be needing exponent. So that is the first example. And the second case can be like, for example, in when you will go in machine learning, there are a lot of things in which there are different mathematical operations are used, or mathematical uh, constants are used, or mathematical constants or functions are used. So using them, you define further functions in which these values are used. So this is the use of these functions. So for example, right now we are just doing a simple function call. So we are not, your question concern was right, because we are not building a calculator here, because we have a calculator in our computer. So why do we need it? Need it. So we need it to define complex functions which involve these things in them. So for example, for log10, log is used in a lot of loss functions in machine learning. So you don't need to confuse it, what is a loss function. If any of you guys know what is a loss function, then for them, uh, log10 is used in different log functions, loss functions. So or the cost functions for bringing values to the log scale, or so on. So for example, power is used almost everywhere, and square root is used in calculating the distance between points, and ceil and floor similarly for converting for getting the ceiling value and the floor value of a floating point number. So these are always used, so you don't need to worry about that. And what you need to know is that if you want to do something, and you don't need to implement everything in Python. So usually in every language, mathematical operators are available and functions are also available. But still you will see in future that there are a lot of functionalities which are pre-implemented in Python. So you will be just using them directly. What you need to remember is that you need to remember the availability of them. So for example, if you are looking for implementing a complex function, just remember including importing math and check for that function in math or Google it. It is the other case. You can Google it. For example, you want to use cos and so on. So, for example, cos is used for cosine similarity and everything is used. So, the next question from Sauvik, can you please repeat? Okay, so you want to repeat the process of using it. Sorry, using the documentation. So the thing is, in the brackets, if you press Shift and Tab once in the parentheses of the function, if you press Shift Tab once, then you will get a smaller, explanation or documentation of that function. If you press it twice, then you will get it detailed form. And if you press it 4 times, like consecutively, then it will appear here. You can try that and verify if it is working for you or not. It should work. And here, if you press tab, then you will have the list of all the things. Are you sure that it is not working? You have to write the function in the parentheses, put your cursor in the parentheses, and then press shift. Keep press like hold your shift and then press tab. Then do it, and then for example, keep your shift like holding. With the holding of shift, you can press tab multiple times. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I imported the math library, uh, which is here, which is here. As I told you guys that you can assign a new name to a library, like an alias. Alias is just a replacement of the actual name. Sometimes this functionality is available because sometimes you guys have a very big library name, so you give it a smaller name and you use it in your code. So right now I will ignore this and bring back the math library format name. So okay, Savik, maybe it can be different. Maybe the notebook version is different. So it is working for you. That's good. And for Siridhar, Siridhar, is it clear for you? No problem. Okay, so let's move forward and here is log 10, which is natural log, and then you have power again. So this is the second power function you are looking at. First one was the built-in Python operator, which was this, and now you have another one which is POW, power. In first one is your base, and the next one is the power you want to take. So 2 raised to power 3 is like this in math library. Then square root is just taking the square root of a number. So it is 25. Square root is equal to 5. Then you have a ceiling operator. So ceiling is like it looks for the above greatest value, and floor looks for the lowest integer. So it is like floor is below and ceiling is above. So you can infer from that 3.2, for 3.2 the ceiling integer is 4. So and for the 3.99 floor integer is 3. So it is like previous and next integer thing. So ceiling gives you the next integer of the floating point number, and floor gives you the previous integer of the floating point number. So 3.2 math.ceil gives you 4 and math.floor gives you 3 for 3.99. So now the thing comes, it is also the answer to the question from Rahiuddin that how these things are used. So for example, the first example is here. Find sum of areas of circles with radius 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 respectively. So this is the use of, for example, mat.pi, pi into r square. So, and you want a sum of each area of these circles. So first you need to calculate the area, then you will do summation. So this is the area of uh, circle, and here math dot pi into math dot pi. What is this pi? The value of pi. Then you have r squared. So radius is 1 and this is 2. The power is 2. Then you have r square, pi r square again, then pi r square again. So if you separate them in a clean way, it is simply like this, that this is one area, there is second area. So the clear way is written below as well. Here, area 1, pi r square, pi r square, pi r square. So here you are implementing your first function using Python. So this is like a first complex function using Python. So you define 5 areas and you then added them. So here is your value. So the thing which has come here is the new thing which you might have noticed is the difference between the previous talk and this is that you have a new thing called variables. So you are putting a value of a thing in something. So, and you are using it later. We didn't do it until this point, and before that you can see that it was a very hectic routine to write a function. It will, this same code will be shortened down at the end of this session. You will know that even this is too much to write, and even this is too much to write. So you can keep the values of your calculations, or just directly you can keep the values in variables. So we will discuss variables in upcoming session, upcoming section. And here you can see that you had five variables, area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did a summation on them, and here you got your total area. You can print that area using this, or if you write it directly in the cell, then it will be printed automatically. So even if you don't write a print, then any variable without a purpose in a cell is printed. But remember, only the latest variable will be printed. If you do this, it will not be printed. The area 5 is not printed. So you need to use explicit print. It is a good practice to use explicit print if you want to print multiple variables in the same cell. So rather than putting them directly, just print them using this print function of Python. Okay, so this is the first example of variables. So now we are coming to discuss the variables in detail. So variables are, do we have any specific function to do squares as like square root? I don't think so, because that can be implemented using power, but still we can look for it. No, there is no. So Yeah, you can just directly do it using power, because usually the functions which are pre-implemented are the functions which with which you will be able to do the further things. So there is usually in Python there is no repetition of same type of function. If they have implemented power, then they will not give you scare root. So sorry, not give you scare, because you can use power to do the scares. That's why scare is not there. So the purpose of the function is like you have to use them to do other functionalities. You're welcome. And so, as we have seen, a new thing which is variables, which can hold the values for you for the later use, which can hold the values for you of the results of your equations for later use, or they can just keep the constant values as well. So let's come to the discussion of variables. Variables are used to store the information to be referenced and manipulated in a computer program. So by by reference, it means like you are going to use them later. So here you are referencing area 1, area 2, area 3, area 4. So these variables are referenced later, but they are not manipulated. Here they are staying what they were. So manipulation is that, for example, after doing this, you change area 1 somewhere later. So for example, you just update area 1 to something else, or you just perform like addition to area 1 or something, then that will be manipulation. So reference is like just using the value without changing it. So there are the difference between Python variables and other language variables like Java or C is that they are dynamically typed variables. So they are like Python is a dynamically typed language. So the difference between statically typed and dynamically typed is that in dynamically typed languages, the type check, the type is, for example, the type of a variable is checked at the runtime when the code is running. So it is not done at the compile time. So there are two times usually if you go in the basics. One is compile time, one is runtime. At compile time, your syntax is checked at the and your code is like gone through by a compiler first. So it checks your syntax, it checks if you have something wrong in your syntax, it gives you the error in the syntax. But at runtime, your code is running. So for example, that first area 1 is this line is executed, then the next line is executed, and so on. So in Python, variables, the types of the variables are checked at the runtime rather than doing them on the compile time. So this way, the basic difference is once you run a code in Python, it is compiled, okay, then your code is going to the runtime. At runtime, your code is going through the check of variable types, and this your code doesn't give you error until it is reached where there is an error in type. For example, if I write a string here, so here I am multiplying by a string, which is a so this is a string. Let's say this is a string. If we haven't discussed it so far, but it is coming upward in this section, in this session. So we are multiplying a number with a string. So, and we will put some prints here to show you that I will put some prints here to show you that how it is working. And so you will see, like, just try it out. See, this calculation was done, this was done, this was done. So you reached until here, then you received a type error here. So this is what happens in dynamically typed languages in which the types are checked at runtime. So this type wasn't checked at compile time. So in a language like C, if you do this, you will not get any result. It will just immediately give you an error. Okay, you are multiplying a number with a float, so, or a sequence with a float, or a non-int thing with a float. So this is the problem with. Uh, this is not a problem. This is just a difference in type of languages. So here in Python, you will just get the results until your, yeah, the problem is getting to occur. So the basic difference is here. So always remember that Python is dynamically typed and your variable types are going to be checked later. That's why you're not also assigning this, for example, for this area underscore one. You're not telling what is the type of this variable, because in other languages you have to declare like this. This is not the syntax of Python what I'm going to write. I'm just showing you. For example, in C, you tell int a variable. For example, the name of variables, let's say area one. You declare the variables like this. So it means you tell the type of a variable to the language, that in compile time it will check, okay, this is an int, this is a string, this is a character, this is a float. So this way it is like predefined, but in Python it gives you the ease of not telling the variable types. It will just infer at the runtime. For example, if you are multiplying a number with a number, then the area will also be a number. So numbers can be integer or float. So similarly, it is like that. Then when there is a problem within the types, like for example, int is multiplied by a string, then it is a, for example, int is multiplied by a text, then it is a problem. So the same thing which I told you above, dynamically typed, you do not have to specify it here. Like you do not have to tell it that this is an integer. Sridhar, your question is, other than Jupyter, do we have any other IDE tools for Python? Yes, there are a lot. I will recommend using Jupyter because your assignments will be in Jupyter, but still there is one Spider which is there in Anaconda as well. When you install Anaconda, Spider gets installed automatically, and Spider is just a IDE which is desktop based, which is not web based like this one. It will open in some time. Yeah, just here. I will show you after it is. Yes. So you can actually see how much slow it is. but it is the other one which is widely used. So you have the code here, you have the output here. So you can also take a look if you want to use a different IDE. So Spider is the other option, and there are a lot of other options. So, but the Anaconda provides you with Spider and Jupyter Notebook. You're welcome. So we were talking about dynamically typed languages. So you don't have to just do this to declare a variable in Python. Uh, and you just tell x is equal to 4, so it will all automatically infer what is the type of x. So this function type, and if you give input, sorry, in the arguments, if you give a variable, it will tell you the type of the variable. So type x is int, and here abc is str. Let's discuss about the data types and data types. So there are lot of different data types in Python. So first being numbers, then strings, then booleans. So numbers we have seen so far a little bit. So first type of number is integers, then you have floats which have decimal point, you have fractions, and you even have complex numbers. So complex numbers in which iota is involved. We will see all of them in detail. String sequence of Unicode characters. So strings are like this, are formed with the characters. Then you have booleans. Booleans is just like true or false. They are just two values, possible values, true or false. Then we will see list, which is just a collection, or you can say a sequence of values. And we will discuss about their property that they can hold different type of data types together. Like first thing in the sequence is number, the second thing is string, and the third thing is boolean. It is possible. Then you have tuples, which are again ordered and immutable sequence of values. We will discuss this thing in detail in tuples, which is then after some time you will see. Then you have sets, unordered bag of values. Sets are like usually the sets. Sorry, sets are actually like that sets in math. So you will have some operations of union, intersection, and some properties of sets as well. Sets as well, and then you have dictionaries, which we also discuss in detail. So starting with the numbers which involve integer, float, and complex numbers. So first start with the integers. So we are using an assignment operator here to assign a value to a variable. So x contains 10 now, and then you say y is equal to x multiplied 2. So I told you in the beginning that we will be not using these operators as we are doing as a calculator. We will use it to write the equation. So this is an equation for a scare x scare, which will be the output will be assigned to y, which is another variable, and then you will see that they will have the output in y. So similarly, you have x raised to power 2, which is equal to y, and it is again the type of y is int, and the value of y is 100. Here you can see division operation on int will convert the variable type to float even if the result is an int. So I told you this before when we were talking about we were talking about the division, and here it is written again. Division operation on int will convert the variable type to float, so it will give you a floating point as a return. So x divided by 2 is 5, which is an integer, but it will give you a float, always give you a float. So which you can see here. But same is not the case for floor division. We also saw that if you are dividing an integer by an integer, it will give you an integer. So order of operations is same as maths. So multiplication, division, addition and subtraction, or division and multiplication can be, I think it is alternating. I think it is Demas, not, yeah, it is Demas. So it is division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So here it is, 2 multiply x plus 5. So 2 multiply x will be performed first, then you will be doing addition. So as a whole, it is, the answer is 10 plus 5 is 25. So x is still 10 if you guys lost track. If you want to do x plus 5 first, then you can use the parentheses to separate it, and the parentheses has the highest priority than the division or multiplication. So x plus 10 is 15 and 2 multiply 15 is 30. Similarly, x divided by 10 plus 1 will give you 2. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So division is performed first. So always remember the order. Then you have typecasting. So what is typecasting? Typecasting is when you convert one type of data, one data type to other. So you have a variable or a constant which has some data type, but you want to convert it to the other data type, then you use typecasting. So for that, there are simple functions with the same name as the types. So if you want to convert an integer to a float, you call float with 10. So it typecast x to and a float. So 10.0 is your new value. And similarly, you have int 10.6 will give you 10. So it will drop this 0.6 because you are converting a float to an integer. Similarly, for complex, it is to first give the 2, then you give the 3. So it is your 2 plus 3 j. J is the iota here. So this is your complex number. But don't confuse yourself with the complex numbers because they are never used. So in our case, so if you don't know what they are, so it doesn't matter. So still you have them in Python. Okay, so these are the two cases for conversion to float and int. Now we will see some examples of Boolean. So we have seen integer. If you guys have any questions, please do ask. And so some operations are supported by several object types. In particular, practically all objects can be compared, tested for truth value, and converted to a string. So what we are saying here is we are going to test. We do the truth check or truth value test using Boolean operators. Using comparison operators, and these tests return us the truth value, or they tell us if it is true or false. So true or false is a Boolean value, and it is returned by doing a comparison operator. So let's say you have x is equal to 5, which is your variable x. 5, x greater than 10. Is it true? No. So your comparison operators are this: x greater, smaller, greater than equal to, smaller than equal to, not equal to, and equal to. So we will see examples for all. So here you have seen this. Then y is equal to 5, which is an assignment operator on a variable. Then x equal to y. Is it true? Yeah, it is true because 5 is equal to 5. Similarly, 2 is smaller than 10. It is true. Yeah, of course it is true. Then similarly, your strings comparison ABC equal to ABC. For the small case, for the lower case, it is true, right? Because ABC in lowercase is equal to ABC. But with a capital A, it is different because it is the meaning of thing is changed. So it is false. Remember, to compare strings, they should always be in same case. So they should be either lower or upper. So here is your truth value testing. Just a small test to show you what is actually happening. So they are like false is equal to 0. Yes, it is true. True is equal to 0. It is false. True is equal to 1. Yeah, it is 1. And false equal to false is true. So this is just to show you that false either 0 or false, they are same. True is equivalent to 1. Yes, Rajesh, Karan, that's what I told in the beginning. Like in notebooks, it doesn't need that. So it is like if you write a variable, let's say that let's take this example, assign this to something, let's say y, and you want to put a y here, then it will display y. But remember one thing, that it is only print the latest variable, the last variable occurring in that sequence. If you say this, then it will not print x, it will just print y. If you want to print them all, you have to use print. So it is a good practice that you use print rather than using just like writing it directly. People are used to write it directly because if you code a lot in the notebooks, you will get used to just writing in them directly. But if you want to print multiple variables, you cannot do it in a single, like just putting them without a print is not possible to print. So like this, it will not able to print anything. Not able to print X, of course, and even here in this case, it is not possible to print X. No problem. So guys, we are moving forward to our next data type. Wait a second. So, guys, let's get back to what we were saying. By default, an object is considered true unless it is so. Let's discuss this. Okay. What is it saying? It is saying by default an object is true unless it is compared. So by default an object is true means if you type any variable and say if that variable something. So if they should not be using if here because it is still not discussed, like we haven't discussed what are the if else conditions. But for now I will just tell you that if it is just checks for the truth value. So anything which is sorry, which is sorry, I have to repeat it again. So anything which is not false, which is not explicitly false, is considered true by default. So if there is any value of x other than 0 or false or none, then it is considered true. So none is also considered false because it is not usually considered false, but it is not an object. So none is like nothing. So for example, x minus 10, it is considered true by default if you write if x, print x is true. So it is what is happening here in this case is that you're checking if this is true, then print this. If it is true, then print this. If it is true, then print this. So if is minus 10, x is minus 10, then we are still printing true because uh, by default an object is considered true. But for y is equal to 0, this is explicitly 0. So the code will not consider it true because it is already false. So this will not be printed. So you can see here, if z equals true, so z is explicitly true, so it is considered true. Then w is equal to none. None is not an object, so by default it's considered true is that the condition is gone, so it will not also be printed. So what are by default example is this by default if it is not 0, false or none. So this is the basic thing which they want to deliver here, that by default an object is true if it is not 0, false or none. So this is the purpose of whole concept here. So guys, we will take a break here for 10 minutes. Then you can we will jump back to our thing of strings. Then we will discuss strings in further detail. Let's have a break for 10 minutes. If you guys have anything to do or you want to get like drink water and some and do something, anything else, you can go and do that in these 10 minutes. Or even if you have any questions, you can ask in these 10 minutes. So get a little relaxation from all the stuff which we have covered so far and come back in 10 minutes. So I will be around so you can ask questions. Maybe I will immediately answer them or I will answer after the break so you can just get this break. There are two questions. First one I will answer directly. I don't think so. There is a naming convention, but I will still confirm that and answer you after the break. But for Sridhar's question, which ID commercially used means in IT companies? There is like not a single IDE which is constant across the IT companies, but for example, in my experience, I have used Visual Studio, which can be used with Python, and even Eclipse, which also can be used with Python. So I have used Eclipse, I have used Visual Studio, but was like a better option. But remember, in commercial use or in industry, uh, every company has their own preferences. If they are like working with Microsoft technologies, they will be definitely using uh, Visual Studio. If they are using open source technology, then they will be using something else. Maybe they can be using Spider or they can be using Eclipse. So there is not a single IDE which is constant around the company. So, but as a student, Jupyter Notebook is the best choice because it helps you put your code and your information in a same environment. You can put images, you can put equations, so everything is sort of in the same environment. That's why you have to uh, use Jupyter Notebook for now. Your question is okay. Yeah, you have the notebook provided in the assignment section. You have to write the code in that notebook because there is all the questions and the cells are separate for each question. So you answer the question with the code in the specific cell to that question. So I will just go and jump to the assignment directly. So this is the assignment. So you write your code here for this question, and similarly you write your code here for this section, and you submit the same notebook on the website. So yeah, I got your question now, that you have to write your code within this notebook and submit it. Sorry. Okay, my screen wasn't shared again. So I will go to answer your question again. So you have to write your code here for each question separately. Like for this question number 2, what is the type of Y? You have to write your code here, and you will at the end you will submit the same notebook in the assignment section on Digital Vidya website. So if you go on Digital Vidya training, go in data science, and you will have this here in its introduction to data analytics assignment. So you can upload it here. Download this assignment, use the notebook to write your code, then upload the same notebook here. Is it clear? Sorry, you are asking about the courses. Let me see, what are you asking actually? That is for us, that is for the trainers, just for the trainers. but still to clear you out, this is not data science using Python refresh. These are the older courses. So your one is the updated, most updated one. Because okay, I will come to you answer your question. First, I will answer the other question. Like, what is the difference between the courses? Differences for with the change which is occurring in the industry, we try to keep our courses updated, and for the each batch there is an update in the course for the next batch. So let's say I started from this, then there was the next course which was updated, and then with the changes we try to change. So this is the most updated course right now. And for okay. You are confused about this session. No, you don't need to import this. You go in this. This is the notebook. You open it, and we will have this. Then you can use this to write your code. For example, here it is mentioned write your code here. So you just write your code here. And similarly for each question, for example, what is the type of X? Write your code here for this question. Then for this question, write your code here. It will be saved, or you can save pressing this button after writing your code. And let's say I will write it X is equal to 10 here, and X. So this is my code for this, and I can save like this. But it is also auto saved, so it doesn't matter. And after you are done with all the questions, you will have to submit this file here where where I have shown you in data science using Python. It will not be a problem. No, 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 no. Just try to, for now, just try to do it in the assignment, because there is a problem why we keep sorry. Uh, no problem, no problem. You can ask any question, it doesn't matter. So what I was trying to say is that we are keeping this in the same format for all the participants, because there are like a lot of participants. When they're like people who are checking these assignments or grading these assignments, they are specific uh, like the trainers don't do that. So there are specific data science coding related people who are doing this, and when they check it, they have to check it for everyone. So rather than confusing them, we want them to be on the same page for every one of you, and that's why we keep a same format for everyone in the whole batch. And even across the batches, this is the same format, and you will be they will be it is for ease of them and for you as well, because you will feel later on, maybe you can right now you can directly code the both things in the same cell, but later on you will understand why we separate all the questions in different cells. It is to avoid you guys to be confused. So is it clear? Just answer, and even if you are writing it again, just answer it in the separate cells here. Let's say I say, for example, I type the answer for X will be here, for Y will be here, and for whatever coming forward is there in the respective cells. No, you don't see the statistics, Guru, because uh, you don't see the statistics course because this is what the first course which I taught. Now they are combined together. So statistics is inside. So you can see statistics is here now with machine learning. So I hope it is clear to you, how to submit this assignment, because it can be confusing in the beginning, like in start, you might don't know how to do the whole process, but with time you will understand this, and but just try to follow what I told you. Okay, so now our break is finished. We are moving forward to strengths. Strings are among the most popular tags in Python. Remember, the data which is coming from websites, from e-commerce websites, from social media, from Twitter, from like rating websites, like movie rating websites like IMDb, and e-commerce website also have their rating platforms. So all this data is in text format, and that's why strings are amongst the most popular types in Python, because we have to get the data in strings. So strings is the data type which contains text. So here we are. It is told in data analysis for perspective that they are used for text cleaning, manipulation, date conversion, and sentiment analysis. So we will see that all of that in future, but right now, string is just a sequence of or of characters. So for example, here you have example s is equal to Sachin Tendulkar. So this variable contains a string, which is a sequence of characters. When you say len of s, so you can get the length. Len is a function to get length. Yeah, I will come to that. But the thing is, the quotes doesn't matter. Both means the same. So it doesn't matter even if you are using a double quote or a single quote. They have a same meaning in Python. So in other languages, usually there's just one format of doing it. But in Python, you can use either of them. But remember, if you have to use the same code to end the string with which you started. So, but otherwise they mean the same. So this code system is like unified in Python. You can use any of the format to define a string, double quote or single quote. So it gives us the length of the string. Then we have a number in quotes who would be treated as a string. So remember, whenever there is a number in a string, it is always considered as a string, not a number. So whenever you see quotes, that is a string. You can see the type there, which is str. So how to index the strings? What is indexing? As I told you, string is a sequence. So whenever there is a sequence in Python, you can do indexing. So indexing is like getting parts of how to get the parts of the data from a specific sequence. So for for indexing, you use square brackets. For example, S is your string. You put the square brackets. You say that I want the first index, which is 0. Remember, when we say first index means the first value, and in Python, the indexing starts from 0, so up to the length of S, okay, minus 1. So it starts from 0 and it finishes at length of string minus 1. Why? Because we are starting from 0, so we have the last index as length of the whole string minus 1. So the first one is, you can see such an, the first is S for whole string. Similarly, you can go forward like this and you say 14, then 14 is A here, and similarly you can have some other string like 5, which is N for this. So this is the indexing, basic indexing in the strings. So remember, if the length of string is 16, there is no 16th index because we are starting from 0. So the last index is 15, not 16, because if you do 16, it is an error because there is no such index, so it is out of index. So negative indexing starts from negative to minus length of iterable in reverse order. So what is the negative indexing? So like for example, if we take this string, if we have the string, the indexing is, let's just separate. Don't consider like here there is no dash. It is just to make a distance between the characters. Otherwise, if you consider dash in a string, of course, yeah, that is another character. Just ignore the dash for now. That it is like Sachin Tendulkar. This is a strange, same string like this. So I just put the dash to put a little distance between them. So indexing is 0, 1, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's take until, so let's say 11, 12, 13. What I missed? Oh, okay, there is a space as well. So let's say we include the space as well. So 14 and then 15. Similarly, there is a negative indexing for this, which is inverse order, which is minus 16, minus 15, and it goes until minus 1. So inverse indexing starts from minus 1 to minus 15 to 16. I'm sorry, minus the number of the length of your string. Here your indexing is, as I told you before, 0 to length of your string. So let's say the string is S minus 1. Here your indexing is a little different. It is from -1 to minus length of your string. So if you say indexing of -1 is R, it will give you R. Let's see this. So negative indexing is like this. So S-1 will give you the last character. So you are going in the reverse direction. And similarly, if you do -16, it will give you the first character, which is S. And if you do check it, S-16 equal to S0 is true because those are both first indexes with the value S. And then there comes another thing, slicing. So now, right now, we have seen examples in which you are getting just one character from a string, just single point indexing you have done so far. How to get a part of a string, like for example, I want to get chin or T and tin or something like that. Then how to do that? There comes slicing. So slicing is getting a part of the string. The question from you is practically we will use negative indexing. Yes, it is used a lot of times. So it is, for example, it is used when you don't know the you want to, for example, get like last four characters and and you don't know the length of a string. So negative indexing helps you when you don't know the length of the string. I will come to that example when we are done with slicing, because slicing is used for getting multiple characters together. And when we use negative indexing with that, it helps us a lot. So slicing only upper bound not included. So when we talk about slicing, we use the syntax. Your first part is your starting bound, means your first index, and this is your upper bound, which index is not included. So let's translate this to the English language. So what does this mean? From index to 0 to 2, 3 is not included. So 3 is never included, or the last index which is mentioned here is not included. Like say, let's say 5, then n is not included because S5 is, let's print it. Okay. You can see n is not included because this is an upper bound which is not included. So if we don't specify the first index, because in slicing the colon, here is your start index before the colon, and then your upper bound. So upper bound, which means end index is -1 index of upper bound. So if there is nothing mentioned in the first part, then it always means that it is starting from the beginning. So either you write 0 or you just leave it empty. Both means the same. So it will all they both mean the same. But and similarly for the end, if you say do this, then it means that it goes until the end. So you don't need to mention the length of the string -1 here. Yes, there is a reverse slicing too. We will see that. Like you want to reverse the string, that's what you are asking, right? Uh, are you asking that there is a reverse slicing in terms of I reverse the string order like R A K L U D E N, or are you? Yes, you are of course asking that, of course. So I will come to that. Just wait a second. And so from what we were doing is okay, 3 to 15. So the only lower bound is included. So in this case, lower bound is included, but the upper bound has the same condition like before. So R is not included, but if you don't write it, it will be included because it goes until the end. So you can say that, see that how it is working, like because upper bound is not included, but lower bound is included. So it will make the whole string. And the thing is that you can see that in string plus X as a concatenation operator. So there were two strings, this one and this one, which were like combined together to make the whole string. Then you can get within the string 3 to 7 means 3 is HIN. So 7 is a space which is not included. And S or the whole string, sorry, and empty column will give you such a Tendulkar. Just wait a second. So for the reverse slicing, let me see what was. Yes. So here you can see it. The reverse slicing is like that, but let's just a second. This is not the yeah. So the answer to your question is the reverse slicing is not possible. But let me look in detail to this because it means something else. If you do -1, then it is reversing the string, of course. But okay, so let's say 0 to no. Yeah, so you can see the reverse like slicing works like this. Okay, so your string is Sachin Tendulkar. Let's bring it here maybe for the reference. So what you're doing is you use double column first of all, and from where you want to reverse, you give that as a first index, and you use -1 uh, as here after this. So this is your reverse slicing that it goes from 10 to 0. This is your 10, yes. So let's say this is 10. Yeah, D is your 10. So it will go in reverse from 10 to 0. So this is the reverse slicing of a string if you want to use it. So in this case, it will give you something which doesn't have any meaning, but you can use it like this. And the lower bound can be controlled after, for example, you say 2. So you can see it is controlled like this. So this is your upper bound in case of reverse order. This is your lower bound, and this is -1 is to specify the reverse order of getting the string. Is it clear? So, okay, so that's great. So handling special characters in strings. So what is the problem with using the codes is in any language is that if you want to include a code within a string, then there is a problem because the language considers the syntax considers that the code is finished, so it means the string is finishing, and the other code is ignored. So that is an invalid syntax, of course. But if what should we do to control this? You use escape characters like escape character, and which is used for like sorry to include the escape character. We have to use backslash like this. So this means it will be included as a quote here. Similarly, you have the other way around is you use double quote for defining the string and smaller quote, single quote for within the string so it will work. The other problem is with the backslash using alone. When you use a backslash alone in a string, it gives you a byte code, so you don't need that. You want the backslash in B. So for that you can put double backslashes. So two backslash are used for, sorry, just wait a second. I will give you the example first. So here you can use it. And Y1, which is this, is a single character, not two characters, remember, because this is a single character. Or the other way around is you define it using this way. You define it like a simple A/B, and you put an R here, which is considered fine. But this way, what will happen is you will get two backslashes. Because you can see it here that you will get two backslashes. even if you put a single backslash, because it is giving you the actual syntax of getting the string. Like here, you put two backslashes to get a single backslash, and but afterwards, what you have to do is you can like use R with a string outside R and like sorry R outside a string to see what is there inside. So yes, it is treated as a single character because there are some specific characters which mislead our string. So for example, we took an example of quote. So we use a backslash with a quote to put a quote in a string, but it is a single character, of course. Similarly, if we put a single backslash, then it is considered as a byte code. So it is giving you a byte code of this backslash b. To avoid that, we use double backslash, like to get a single backslash, to treat it as a single backslash. Why is it doing this? Just wait a second. Yeah, so we cannot put a okay, the thing is, rather than using the single backslash, we use two backslashes, and but it doesn't affect our string because it is a single character. It is considered as a single character because here you can see why one is giving you double backslash, but still, as it is a single index, so it is a single character, so the length is one. So the double backslash will be showing as a double backslash, but it is single. It is treated as a single character. Similarly, if you use in raw string, you when you put a single backslash, it is treated as a it is shown as a double backslash, but it is again treated as a single character. So here, if you again do Z1, it will give you double backslash, which is a single character. Yeah, so length stays the same. It is again length of y is equal to 3. So if even if I print it like here for you, then you will see it is 3. So that's how you do like a simple string definition. You're welcome. And splitting a string. Split is to like separate the string. So splits the string and add the data to string array using a defined separator. If no separator is defined, so it is splitted on the base of white spaces. So for example, we have here a string Sachin, Marat, Dhoni, and Zaheer. So there are different names, and we want to split them. So this string dot split will give us all the separated strings in a list. So this is a list which the list data type itself we are going to discuss in the next section. But before that, just consider it as a collection of strings. So these are 4 strings here, which are splitted based on what? When you are not defining a separator, So I'm sorry. Then it means it is by default a space. So when separator is none, by default it is a space. So you are splitting on the base of spaces. Or for example, if there is a comma, then you can specify. Then, for example, I just remove the space for now, just to show you guys that it can be a simple comma. So a comma can separate the strings. And similarly, if you have spaces, with that, you can even specify that you want to split on comma space. So it is not necessary that it should be a single character. It can be a string of multiple characters to define a split. But they should be consecutive. The thing which you are deciding to split is should be consecutive. For example, I put an S here, so it will split here and here. So you can see this remains a single string because there is no comma space as together in this case. So there are two splits. Sorry, three splits, one here and one here. Two splits to make three strings. Again, we can have a split on something else like this hash or number sign. And then you can do indexing on list. Like you want to get the first split, then you are doing this. This example is just a little bit introduction to the cleaning of data, which we will be looking forward in like after 3 or 4 sessions. That, for example, if a number in a rough or a noisy string specify that there is a number inside, how do you clean data? You just have some string operations. For example, the split or the hash is providing you with a number. Later, you can remove this dollar, then it will be just a number. Then you can convert it to an integer. So the other option is then you have a number of splits you want. So let me show you that. Okay. For example, if you have further like KL, it will stay as a single string because you are telling the number of splits. So first split, second split, then there will be no split. So how many splits do you want? So this two splits give you three strings. And if your string is going on, then it will go on because you specified that you want two splits, to do two splits only. And then you have the other way around, that you want to get data using, for example, you have this string USA, Mexico, Canada 2021, and you want to concatenate USA in 2021 and you want to remove Canada and Mexico. So you split it, got the first split USA, first string USA and the last string 2021. So you just concatenate them. Then there is a function called strip. The strip removes the spaces before and after the string. So whatever spaces you have before and after the string, they are removed, not the spaces in between the strings. In between a string are not removed, but the spaces in the beginning and at the end of the string are removed using dot strip. So you can see that the spaces are removed. String concatenation, as we have seen before, that's Virat Kohli, you get as a space to keep the distance. And the next thing which comes is strings are not mutable. So what is it meant by strings are not mutable? Because a string is not mutable, it means that once defined, you cannot update a string or change a value of a same string. So for example, S here is, what was this? Sorry, let me print. If you guys lost uh, like Sachin's score, right? What we wanted to do is that we wanted to replace the S with Z. So this is not possible because strings are not mutable. So object does not support item assignment. Item assignment is not possible because they are not mutable. The data types which are not mutable cannot have a assignment once they are created. So once they are initialized, there is no assignment possible. In this case, S1 plus S2 is forming a new string. So once S3 is formed, you cannot update it. Like for example, if I do here is that put in D, so it is not possible. Oh, sorry, there's in there. So it is not possible because there is no assignment possible in strings because they are mutable. They are not mutable. Sorry, they are not mutable. So list, now we come to the list. List is a sequence of values, and when we talk about list, it is like a collection of values. So a collection of mixed data types because it can have integers with the strings. So for example, in this index, you can have strings. So you have to separate each value with a comma. So here is your list, your length of list, same function as before, like strings. It's the same indexing as strings, but just the separator is comma now. In strings, there was no separator. Then your lists are mutable. You can update them, which which is the opposite case to strings, and you can assign a value and change the list, which you can see, which was 5, 2, 4, 1, 10. Now it's 22, 10. L3 is 1. The indexing is same as I mentioned before. And once if you try to index something which is out of the index, so it will be a out of range index out of range error because it has the maximum index as 5. Your question is lists are mutable even if we have character string set in the list. Yes, they are mutable because we are updating a list, not a string. So if you talk like this, like let's say you have list of strings, let's say A1, B1, B2, then you can do S0 is equal to A2. You can do it. But you cannot update a string within a list. So for example, if you try to do this, it will be an error. Because in the first one, you are updating a list, not a string. You are just updating a list with another string. But so as list is mutable, but string is not mutable. So if you try to update a string which is in the list, then it is not possible. So what I was trying to update is S00, which is A. So I cannot update this because this is a string. And if I do like anything, it is not possible because it is again about the mutability of strings. So strings are not mutable. Okay, so no problem. So we are here. So this slicing is similar like in like strings. So slicing is similar like one to like for example if you want to slice from index 1 to until end, then you have upper bound thing same as strings, and then you have L for the whole list. Here the first case is this indexing is again, this slicing is same, so I will go directly to the last. So if you do this, your list will be reversed. If you do this, you will get 10 and 2 because minus 3 is a jump. So you will get the third in value after the first one. But remember, this is the jump in the reverse order. So as there is a minus, so it is a reverse order. Similarly, if you do it with the positive one, then you will get in the forward direction. So what is your 2? 0, 1, 2 is 4. So you get 4 and 10 because 0, 1, 2. So this third of column is specifying your increment, and if it is a negative, then it is a decrement, and it is for the reverse indexing. So your indexing depends on reverse order, or the forward order depends on your negative or positive value at the third position. And the other thing is the value specifies the step size. So if it is 1, then it will be sort of sequential, but if it is more than 1, then it will be a jump of some number which is specified by you. Okay, so wait a second. So guys, that's for all the list and slicing. Now we come to some built-in Python functions, or which lists have. So first we have a list. We want to add the value at the end. So in this case, you don't need to assign again to a list because it is in place. When it is in place, so it is updated with a function call. So you append 50, so it comes at the end of the list. If you want to insert something, first thing is your index, second is your value. So the first index is 2. You want, the value at first index is 2. So you want to, sorry, not the first, index 1 is 2. So you want to update that with 1000. So insert can also be used. And then you have remove, because this will give you an error because uh, this is not in the list. This value is not in the list. So you can always remove a value which is in the list. So you can remove 6, and 100 will give you an error, but still your list will be updated if you remove this. and you will see. Oh, sorry, I signed it again. I'll not remove 6. So you can just remove any value you want, but it should be there in the list. Then you have pop operation, which is you can pop a value from a specific index, which means it will be indexed, the value will be indexed and removed. So if you pop the index 2, which is 9, 0, 1, 2, where it is 9, so it will be returned to you, but it is also removed from the actual list. So you can see it is not in the list anymore. So these are the basic Python functions with the list. So insert, remove, append, we have seen so far. I don't think so. I'm not sure about that. No, you are not able to do that because it just removes the one value. So the question was, it is possible to remove multiple values with a single remove command. It is not possible. The answer to that question is that it is not possible. So what you are saying is, can you remove using index position? In this case, you are removing with the index position. No problem. Sorry, sorry, Guru. I missed your question at the first time, so I didn't notice that your question was that I answered to someone else's question. Okay, so you're welcome, guys, and so the pop is for that, and here you are. Here comes the sorting. So the sorting is for the sorting of the list. There are two cases. One is ascending and the other is descending. So if by default it is ascending, so you can see that here it is ascending 1, 3, 5, 7. But if you want descending order, then you can just do reverse is equal to true. So it will give you the descending order. And if you want to see there's another option. Okay. So if you want to reverse this list, then you can just call dot reverse and it will be reversed. So the other way is this, which we discussed here, this way or this way. So both can reverse this list. There are some other functions, which is max, min, and sum. So sum of L will sum all the values in a list, 41. Max will give you the maximum value of the list. Minimum will, of course, give you the minimum value of the list. So strings are immutable. The thing is coming up again. So we already discussed that. So, so you can see it is not possible as we discussed before, as because I told you guys that we are just updating the list, not a string. So here comes another example, which is a list of bools. So you can see that just true and false values. But you can always have the list with different type of data types like this. Okay, now the function that comes is join is used to concatenate a list of strings. For example, you have a list of strings, and let's say you get this dot split. So the inverse operation to this is join. So in join, you give a list as an input, and you define a separator. For example, this is your separator. You want to join the list on this separator. So it will give you hello word and join blah blah blah. So this was your list hello and word join like this, and here you can also join them on space or any other character you want. You can put it on spaces. So it is like this. Or without any with an empty string, so it means they will be so consecutive. So list with mixed data types. I have shown some example above, so you can remove similarly like before. You can reverse that. That reverse order is like this. So true 5.5. So same operations are applicable here. But you cannot join it because we discussed that join is used to concatenate a list of strings. So that join is not possible. So the next thing is what we want to do is combine two two lists. So it is similarly done by plus, which is a concatenation operator for two lists. Sorry, what happened? So new L is there, and this thing. Okay, wait a second, guys. Okay, so L is not list here. Okay. Let's say L is a list. No, you can combine that. Sorry, the L was not a list in previously. It was a string. So you cannot combine string with a list, of course. So you have to. What's wrong with my notebook? Okay, so here you can see you can combine two lists together, and you have these two lists which you have combined using plus. It is important to assign the value to a variable because here you are combining them. So it means that you have if you want to keep this change, you have to say maybe L new is equal to this new L plus L. So if you want to avoid that, then you can use assignment operator with the concatenation one. So this is plus equal to in Python, and it is used to concatenate and assign. So here what will happen, L will be updated with the concatenated string. So this is equal to L is equal to L plus new L. Then comes the nested list. For nested list, it is like list within a list. So there you can say that this is a list containing some few lists and other values. So here it is all listed. But length of the main list stays same. Remember, it doesn't affect the whole list because it has one, two, three, four, five, just five elements. It doesn't count the nested list into the length, so it is considered separately. But the type of the nested lists will be also list. So you can see that you can do indexing, like first you index fourth index of the main list. So what is that? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one. Then you say you want to get 9, okay? So you say first and sorry, index number 1, which is 9, 10, this list. And out of that you get 0. So it will give you 9. Similarly, 1 will get you 10. So it is an order. The order followed here is this order, like first the whole list, then in that index which is 4, index 1 which is this, then in this index 1 is this, so or index 1 is this, yes. So remember, this is the order is always linear, like in one direction. So this is the order. So the next data type which we are going to cover is dictionary. So dictionary is a key value pair data type in which there is a unique key. There's a unique key for and there is a value to with respect to that key. So keys are always unique in dictionary. And a dictionary of Python is a collection of unordered values accessed by key rather than index. So there is no indexing in dictionary because these are unordered. Lists were ordered, strings were ordered, but dictionaries are not ordered, so they are unordered. And you have to access the values using access the values using keys. So let's create a dictionary first. So your key is a vegetable and fruit here, and then their values potato and apple. So this will give you an error because it is an unordered data type, so there is no indexing. So what do you want? Do you want to get the data? You have to use the key. D fruit will give you apple because this is the index. Similarly, keys are not necessary to be strings, so you can have the numbers as the keys. So here your key is 1 and 2. One is when the value is apple, so this is your one pair. This is your one key value pair. This is your other key value pair. So this colon is used to divide the key. This is key. This is value. So key and value. So here again, key and value. So this is the order of defining a dictionary. And again, you use the key to access the values, and it is written keys. You don't need to be string. Okay, this the comment here is please ignore the code to create the dictionary because this code is from the future, so you don't need to consider it for now. But the target is from some file. We are getting this data 2008 Royal Rajasthan Royals, 2009. These are the winners of all the seasons of IPL. So this is from IPL dataset. So this is a dictionary in which 2008 uh, is the key. So these are the keys and these are the values for that. So accessing values is similar. Winner 2008 is Rajasthan Royals. Winner 2016 is Sunrisers Hyderabad. And remember, dictionaries keys have to be unique. So they cannot be repeated. If they repeat, then the last one will be the updated value. So here you have repeated 2016 two times, but the last one is considered as the updated value for the previous one. So Sunrisers Hyderabad is ignored, is replaced by RCB because it again, as I said, there should be the unique keys. So you can update a dictionary simply like updating a dictionary. Winner 2017 is equal to MI 2017 wasn't there, but it is added now. You can see. So Mumbai Indians are considered as the winner of 2017. So we added that really simply, like we used to do indexing. If this way we did the indexing, this way we are doing the assignment. So if the key is not present, it will be created. Or if the key is existing, then it will be updated. So here 2008 was KKR. Now we have to replace it with Rajasthan Royals. Deleting a key value pair for removing from the dictionary is simple. You just define del, which stands for delete, and you specify which key value pair you want to remove. So this way it will be removed. Sorry, I don't have the data, so you have to ignore this code. But still, so it was removed. Then delete all the values from a dictionary. Then you do that winner.clear. So it will return you an empty dictionary. Then you can delete the dictionary directly as well. So whatever way you want. Updating the dictionary. Okay, here. So if you remember, we were at 2017, 2008 was KKR, right? Here. So if you do 2008, this assign the new value, then it will override the previous value. So it was KKR, now it is replaced with RR, Rajasthan Royals. Yes, you can have list of values as a value in here. Here you can have a list. Here you can have a dictionary again. Here you can have anything, any number, anything you can have. So what is your question? Souvik, hi. The in and out values differ not in the sequence. Sorry, I didn't get your question. I don't get your question. Like in 463, what is you, you are saying this value? 463 is 463. 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 463 is Oh, this is the order of execution of the Jupyter notebook. So when you run the cell 463 is the number of run you have made during one session. So for me, this was the 14th run. Like I will show you. So how much run I did today? Here it was my 2,205 run. So so the output is same. So the cell output is same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with the code. So it is just same. So just wait a second. You're welcome, Solik. So we were coming to the next example where we are talking about the built-in functional methods for the dictionaries. No, this is again the code from Pada, so you don't need to worry about that right now, but just see the output. So the code from Pandas is there not only to confuse you, because it is there to just show you an example which is from the real data, but you don't need to get worried with the code, as you will be studying this in upcoming 3 sessions, I think. Yeah, three. After 3 sessions, we will be studying Pandas. But until then, if you anywhere find the code, then don't get worried, because it is just for the outputs, just to show you. So you have IPL dictionary, which is nice. So let's say I can have this. I ignore this and I can do this. So length of the dictionary is 6. So again the built-in functions and methods. Type of IPL is dictionary. The Deccan Chargers bat did first. Then you can get the keys. The keys of the dictionary are name of the teams. Hi Guru, I answered this question before that the keys can be integers, the keys can be strings, like this case they are strings. So keys can be anything. So it doesn't matter, keys can be list as well. But of course, it is not the practice to use list, but still I'm just telling you for the example that keys can be anything. Even the values can be anything, and keys can be anything. Is it clear? Like, have you got your answer? Yeah, they should be unique. The strings can be unique, and if there are numbers can be unique. So any data type which you are using should be unique. If you are not using the unique keys, then the previous values will be replaced. The previous value of the same key will be replaced, because there is no occurrence of the same key twice. You're welcome, no problem. So the if you want to get the keys of a dictionary, you can use the function ipl dot key, sorry, the dictionary name dot keys. So it will give you all names of all keys of a dictionary. Similarly, dot values will give you all the values, and they will not give you the keys. So if you want to get them both in the form of pairs, then you can do IPL dot items. Sorry, the key is the dictionary name dot items. So it will give you a key, and it will give you a specific data type which is called tuple, which we are going to discuss in upcoming part of this session. But right now it is just a pair of key and values in a list. So you can also check if a dictionary contains a specific key using in. It is just a operator which tells you a truth value based on with whether Deccan Charger is in IPL keys, yes or not. So it is pretty straightforward. What is the meaning of in? If it is in that the keys, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. So Sunrisers Hyderabad is not there, so it is false. Similarly, Chennai Super Kings is false because you are just checking in the that in the list or some other data type if this is present or not. So there is another function called get. If you want to, if you don't want to index like this, index with a key, you can use a function get, and you give the key, and it will return you the value. And the difference between them is if you do get, you will get this, right? But if you do this, then you get an error. So if you don't want to get an error, then you do use dot get, because dot get, even if there is not a key, it will not return anything. Hi Guru, your question is checking multiple values using in is possible. Yeah, I remember it is possible. Actually, no, it is not possible. Sorry. It is not possible because, yeah, it is not possible within a single in, because you are looking for, in a list, you are looking for this. So it is not possible because there is no list in a list. If there is a list in a list, then you can check for that list in a list, but you cannot again check for multiple values uh, using single in operation. So for that, there are loops, but we will discuss them in maybe the next session, because might not be able to discuss them today. So until then, you can consider that using a single in, it is not possible. So we have seen that get, and we see why it is better, where it can be used when you want that there should not be an error if the key is not present inside. So then max key and value. So if you have some dictionary, then max of d dot values will give you 100, because d dot values is again a list of values. I am saying that it is possible using the in operation, but you will be, for example, you will be checking on multiple values one by one. So at the time, you can only check one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is, we have to move forward in a way that everyone is clear about everything. So it doesn't matter that there are a lot of questions. If there are a lot of questions, then it means a lot of things are getting cleared. So if we don't do that, then there is no advantage of the class if you guys are not clear. So always get anything you have in mind to get cleared, because if the same thing, I will say it again. For example, the last time there was an addition, for the last batch there is an additional session because we got slow, but we got slow because they learned better in a way that they were getting their they also used to ask a lot of questions. But this way, if you are get yourself clear during the session, that it means it will always be in your mind as well that you, okay, I asked this question, I have the question answer for that, and the concepts are clear, then we can move forward slowly. That doesn't matter. The speed doesn't matter. The learning matters. So no problem. And never think about that. Just ask the questions, as many as you want, as many as you have in your mind. Okay, so we were saying, so we were here. So max dot values is again using the same concept. D dot values give you the values of the dictionary. So just use max on that. Then D dot keys give you the strings, and you do max on that. But it is not meaningful, because why it is not meaningful? The meaningful is not sorry. It is not meaningful because it is checking the maximum value on the strings, and it doesn't mean anything to us. But if we want to get the key for the maximum value, we want to get the key of the maximum value, then it is meaningful. And for that, we can do it like this: D, and we have to specify key is equal to dot get. So that way, we are going to get the key of the maximum value, which is this. Okay, so this is the way of doing this. We give a dictionary, we get define a way of getting the key, and we get the key for the maximum value. State population information in a dictionary. Then we have again the state population dot get to get the name of the state with the maximum value. It will always return you the first one. The question is, when you have two max values, then it will always return you the first one. And answer to Rahimuddin question is like, it will always return the first one. But remember, as there is no order in the dictionaries, so it will always return the first string which occurs in the sequence of the hashing. So it you didn't know which one will be the first one. It is not necessary that the 4 1 is the first one in that. So 5 1 can also be returned, because strings are the dictionaries are unordered. So if we see print d dot keys, in this, the order of the first one is this. So right now the order is this. So the first one is 4. And then there are the next question, keys are unique in dictionary, correct? The values also should be unique. No, the values are not necessarily unique. You can see this example here. Then the next question is get work with only value. So sorry, I didn't get your question. I think the get works with the keys, not the values. So like this here. So the Royal Challenger Bangalore is the key. So you give the key and it returns you the value. And for Arun, your question, is it clear that values can should not be unique? It is not necessary, but the okay. So we saw this example. Now there is an example of a nested dictionary, again from the IPL season. So you don't need to get worried about that. This how to get this data and how we got it here. No worries, no confusion. Just ignore it for now. And so you have this dictionary in which you have two keys, 2014, 15, and 2016. Then you have a nested dictionary in which you have multiple keys and their values. So I have a question from you guys that what will be the length of this IPL season dictionary? So this is the dictionary. Let's ignore this. The right answer is already there. So good. It means you are understanding things. So of course it will be 2. That's great. So it should go like this. So because for this dictionary, there are just two instances, two indexes, or just two elements. Then for internal dictionaries, there are more elements. So that's the concept of nesting in Python or any other language. That's how you nest the same data structure inside the other. Nesting doesn't affect the length or the number of elements of the actual dictionary. So accessing values. IPL 2016. Then you can do further indexing like we discussed before. There is an order. The order is in this direction. So first 2016, you got this for 2016. Then you get Gujarat lines. So you will get 9. So here's your 9. Similarly, you can update the nested dictionary with the value. So you are saying IPL season 2016, Chennai Super Kings is equal to 0, so it will become 0. So previously it was what? 2016 Chennai Super. Chennai. So it is not there. So we added that ourselves, and it will be updating the nested dictionary. So it is there now. 2016 Chennai Super Kings equal to 0. Again, the keys for the IPL season will be 2015 and 2016. Then the values for IPL seasons are two dictionaries, one this dictionary and the other one is here. So I will come to the question. Just wait a few minutes. So uh, that's for the multi like nested dictionary thing. So you can append dictionaries. You can append the IPL dot update Update is to append dictionary. So the previous dictionary will be appended to the new one. So you can see this was the IPL dictionary, and these are the previous dictionary IPL season values. So IPL is updated with the IPL season. So there are two new uh, instances in this now. Okay, so the question is, if we don't get data with keys and values, then how do we classify whether which values has to be considered for the key and which to be considered for the values? Okay, so it is not necessary that you always have to keep the data in dictionary. First thing first. And then the second thing, if you have to make a dictionary from a data which is given to you, the first target should be the uniqueness of the keys. If the uniqueness of the keys is there, then you can have the data and you can choose for example, that type of data as the key and the other part as the value. And there should be a link, of course. For example, the link is there in this case is because of the team names and the values with respect to them. It is not like you can combine the data out of any sense. It should make sense to have the keys. And the next thing, for example, you have information of people, name, age, and so on. That these can be the keys, and there is the ID which will be, for example, there is a first dictionary which has the ID, and then you have a nested dictionary for the information of that person. Again, then there is a ID, unique ID, of course. Then you have information of that person in a nested dictionary. So it depends on the data. There is no one way of doing it. But remember, try to find a key which is unique. So if you don't find anything like that, just assign the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. That's the that's a unique ID, you can say. So it is like if you guys have worked with the SQL, so it is sort of similar. Like the selection of keys is sort of similar, like choosing a primary key in the databases. So creating a dictionary using zip. Zip is another built-in command from Python. So you have a uh, team list, and then you have a captain list. What do you want to do is you have to make a dictionary using them. So dict is a constructor for creating a dictionary, because right now we have just until now we have just created it directly the from these curly brackets, but now we are using dict as the constructor. So then you have zip. Zip will do combine these two lists. So team and captain are the input to the zip. So it will combine Mumbai Indians, Rohit Sharma, KKR, Gautam Gambhir, RCB, Shane Watson. So let's print it. So you can see. So why isn't there any Dhoni? Why? Because there is no team for him. So there is no key provided. So Dhoni, his value is ignored. Similarly, there are two arrays to list. There is no need of numpy here actually, which is just again to confuse, which can confuse you. So L1, L2, then you create a zip, and then you do the dictionary. So, okay. Here we are with the tuples. So a tuple is an immutable list. So tuples are like list, but they are immutable. Because lists are mutable, tuples are immutable. A tuple cannot be changed in any way once it is created. So append, extend, insert, remove, and pop would not work on a tuple. The only operation possible is to create a slice that would make a new tuple. So the slicing is saying the difference is that the bracket use is parentheses to create a tuple. They can contain different type of data types, but they cannot be updated. So as they are immutable, you can see here. So these operations are against immutability. So you cannot use them. But you can always create a new tuple using the slicing. This is just the basic difference between tuple and list. So there is not much a difference other than immutability. Then you have sets, which are unordered collection of values. So the sets are the last thing for today. So after that we will finish. So you create a set with the curly brackets like dictionary, but you don't have a columns. You don't have columns like this. And that's why in sets you cannot have, like for example, if you repeat a value 2 times, it will be considered one. Sets are, as I heard, is written here, unordered, so no index. So again, in sets there is no indexing. So this is the difference between dictionary and sets. In dictionary, you provide a key value pair, but in sets there is no pairing. This is just a list of like not a list, a set of values. So 1, 2, 3. 3 is repeated 2 times, but still is given as 1 time. Wait a second, I will come to your question. So now set another set A. So this is 2 times, and this will be considered 1 time. So you will see 0.8, 5, 8, A, double A. So the capital A is green 1 time. Changing the value in set. Changing the value in a set is just like add. So you add means you append. So add is like append, and uh, sorry, we are still here. Okay. So if you add 6 2 times, still it will be the 1 time. And then you set dot update s1 means you are updating s with a new with another set which is s1. S1 is which one? Sorry, yeah, S1 is this and S is this. So you are updating S with this set. And you can similarly remove a value from. So you cannot remove a value which is not there in a set, but you can remove other values. So I will come to that again. Just wait a second. Uh, so what is it that you are not clear about? And the first thing I will answer Arun, that in tuples you are talking about update. There is no update possible in tuples actually because they are immutable. Update means update means updating something. So like this updating t means you are adding some value to t, like adding like including some more values to t. Even changing is updating, so it both means the same. Yeah, so even the changing means updating, so it doesn't mean a different thing. But in tuple, both of them are not possible. No, sets are unordered because it is like yours looking here to say that it is this is ordered. But this order is not the order we have put the set in. When we say some data type is unordered, then it means we created in this order and it has taken some order, some other order. So how does it take some other order? Because sets in sets it is sort of ascending order. Like you can see if you add, for example, 0 here, then it will be zero will be in the beginning. So unordered is not the unordered you are confusing it. The problem. So for Guru, what is not clear to you? Can you mention a little bit like? So guys, that is. And if you guys have questions, you can ask. I will come to Guru's question, and in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask about today's session or anything. And for the just wait a second. I have to get the feedback. No problem, no problem. You're clear now. Guys, just wait a second. Then you can leave, but just wait a few moments. I have something to share with you, but I don't have it. I don't know where it is. Yeah. So, guys, the last thing you have to do is give the feedback. Okay. Sorry, I have to share. So I'm sharing the feedback link. Kindly give the feedback, and then I'm also answering your questions in the meantime, but whatever you have. So everyone, please try to give feedback as it shows your contribution as well, and it shows that you attended the session as well. Because these things are important, as at the end everything is accounted for. That you have given the feedback, you have taken the classes, you have submitted the assignments, and at the end, project. So your question was about which assignment to be submitted for this week. Let me check if you will be able to do the assignment or not. You will be able to do half of the assignment. So what you can do is, just wait a second. Yes, the assignment is doable. So you can do the complete assignment number one and submit that during this week. So assignment which is available in the first session, or you can say the second session, is is what you have to do. So guys, are you done with the feedback? Okay, that's great. So you guys can ask questions if you have any. It is important that everything should be clear before leaving today. So I think you have to do the assignments, the assignment for the session one. Yeah. So for the session one, you have to download that assignment and do it, and you have to complete it during this week. So as we have covered everything for that assignment, so you will be able to do it. No, you don't have to complete both assignments. I think so because just let me confirm again. Because I think the second assignment is with the other part, which is left with which we are left with. So, but I will still confirm it again to see if is there any change in the assignment or not. And for Guru, you have submitted the assignment. Is it should be submitted only after this session? Yes, for this session, that's the final assignment I think we have because in that assignment we covered data types and everything like that, so there is nothing new. Uh, Let me see. I think so. It is the same assignment for the both. Yes, so you just have to do the assignment. Wait a few moments, guys. I will be clearing up everything. Yes, so it is the same assignment. That's the same assignment you have for this week. So nothing new. Yes, for the question that so we have to complete. It's the same assignment, so it doesn't matter. Like uh, you have to do one assignment. Will there be an extra session due to missed last session? Yes, of course there will be one. I'm really sorry for that it happened last week, but uh, there will be a session for that uh, for uh, for recovering that, of course. For session one, we had to do the assignment. You didn't have to do the assignment because we didn't touch the code in the previous session. So it is the same assignment in both sessions. So the same assignment was for two sessions. So you have to do it now. So and for those who have submitted this assignment, you don't have to submit it again. It is just the same one. So everything clear, guys? If you guys have any more questions, then if you don't have any questions, then we will finish this session for today. Okay, so I think that's all for today. And thank you everyone for your cooperation and taking the session. And I hope I can still improve in the next session if there are some problems. And I hope you will be able to understand and go on in a good way uh, moving forward in this batch. And hopefully you will learn a lot. Thanks for that. Thank you everyone. So have a very good week ahead. Have a very good weekend. Enjoy. Then during the week, study, and if you work. So best of luck for everything and for the assignment as well. So bye guys. I will be turning off from the session for today. And do the assignments and always ask the questions on Q&A, digital video Q&A. It will increase your rating as well. So be collaborative. That's what I would say. So that's all for today. Bye guys. Bye everyone.